Quentin Tarantino says he'll never direct an MCU movie. Now, if Tarantino is true to his word, he only is going to direct one more movie. So with that in mind, I would hope he would direct nothing that is involved or related to Disney in any way. It's not the idea of Quentin Tarantino directing anything affiliated with Disney is an oxymoron, doesn't mix. It's oil and water. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I'm not a fan of Disney. I think they homogenize and regurgitate and squeeze every penny out of their fans and make like mediocre money grabs constantly. Don't like Disney. Despite the fact that some of my favorite movies of all time are from Disney movies, some classic films. But then Disney goes ahead and then they regurgitate those things with worse versions, but they make a ton of money on it, right? They constantly raise their prices of everything. But yeah, I don't want to see Quentin Tarantino doing a superhero movie, a genre of film that seems to have taken over any kind of idea of original storytelling, right? If it's not a superhero movie, it's a remake of something, it's a reboot of something, it's a Lego sequel of something. It's got to be in a universe. The only universe I want to see Quentin Tarantino work in is the Quentin Tarantino universe. Like Kill Bill, right? Rumors of Kill Bill 3. When it came out, the rumor was the kid that was the Black Mamba's kid, I think. I'm pretty sure that character's name was. Grown up, seeking revenge on Beatrix Kiddo. I would love that to be his final film. Interesting, coming back to one of his... I mean, all of his movies are great. I enjoy all of his movies. I love how the most recent of films, the last few, he takes historic character and changes things, like in Inglourious Bastards, killing Hitler. Great. I love that. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, having Brad Pitt's character just go off on these guys that were supposed to go kill the actress. Loved it. Love what he does with these movies. Just changing one little thing in history to just make that it's like a twist, kind of. Not really. I mean, it's a twist because he's changing history. It subverts your expectations because you know history, or you might know history. Hopefully, I mean, as history is getting cut from schools left and right, especially in red states, it wouldn't be surprising if people weren't aware that Hitler didn't die or wasn't killed by, the Inglourious Bastards, that he killed himself. But yeah, I don't want Quentin Tarantino working with Disney. I don't want him doing an MCU movie, a DCU movie. I don't want to see him do Star Wars. One of the most overrated. Somebody tried. I gave credit to the Harry Potter franchise as being one of my favorite franchises, which it is. Despite my feelings and opinions of J.K. Rowling, I think she's a disgusting human. But the movies based on her books, I loved. One of the best franchises. The movies just get better, cohesively amazing, versus a franchise like Star Wars, where the majority of Star Wars films are bad. The majority of films are bad. It is very hit or miss if a new Star Wars movie is going to be good, versus the consistency of the Harry Potter franchise. It was a ridiculous statement. But, what am I going to... If there's people who worship these franchises. That's why Disney bought them, because they know they have this like religious fan base that will buy whatever. Despite how bad Disney can make these movies, people will still go back because they worship that brand. Same thing with Marvel. It's all they do. They're buying these brands, these IPs that people worship. Blindly. They don't have to be good. Some of them are. I loved Rian Johnson's Star Wars, which is another controversial opinion in the Star Wars oeuvre of garbage. I thought Rogue One was okay, made the first movie better. The prequels are garbage. The J.J. Abrams films, not good. The last one, not good. The spin-off movies, they're whatever. They're just not great. I'm done with Star Wars. I don't care about their show. I hear the Andor show's good, but I've also heard the other shows maybe not so great. I don't know. It's sad seeing all these people who blindly follow these brands, these IPs, just throw all of their money into it and somehow convince themselves that garbage is okay, right? Just because it has the right font, it has the right theme music, it has the right references to the things that they remember from their childhood. The only remake, if he's going to do, or sequel, Quentin Tarantino I'd like to see do, is Kill Bill. Other than that, I want just another completely original story from him. Right? I don't no sequel to any of his other movies. No desire for it. Kill Bill's the only one that would make sense. But I would prefer, over that, he could produce. Even if he's not directing, I'm sure he'll get into produce. I can't see why he would go away from film altogether just because he's not directing anymore. But I can see him produce movies. I can see him produce a movie by a director he loves that is the Kill Bill sequel that everybody's talked about, rumored sequel people have talked about. But I would prefer, over everything, an original story from him. Right? What haven't we seen? We've seen the Western. We haven't seen any sci-fi, no space from him. Everything's pretty grounded. We got the World War II. We got Western. We got gangster, couple different kind of variations of gangster. He's done, L.A. kind of during the 60s or whatever. Once Upon a Time in L.A. was. There's some stuff I could see him doing, and I'm sure it's going to be great. One of my favorite movies is the last one he did, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Love that movie. Saw it 3 or 4 times in theaters. It's a weird, it's I don't know. He just makes, his style of films, the way he writes them, the characters, all of it, I enjoy it. It's got an edge to it. I dig it. I'm in, even if it's just kind of a mood, But yeah, I have no desire whatsoever to see Quentin Tarantino work with any pre-existing IP that wasn't initially written by him. Not at all. Ugh. I'm sure it would be good, probably be one of the best, and I'm sure it would piss off a lot of Marvel people. If he did do a Star Wars movie, if he did a Marvel movie, guarantee it would piss people off. Because he's not the guy that... those are properties that Disney is very protective of, and they've gotten rid of directors that tried to do interesting things. They got rid of Rian Johnson, who did one of the most interesting things. By far, one of my favorite Star Wars movies. So anyway, Quentin Tarantino says he'll never do it. I love it. Just do you, Quentin.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can